Welcome to Hello Port Hueneme. I'm your host, Tom Dunn, and today we're doing another chapter in Citizens Forum. And with us today we have Rod Butler. Welcome, Rod.
Hello.
Rod is always with us on Citizens Forum. And just to review it for you quickly is that's where we take input from the citizens who have questions or suggestions, and then we discuss it on air, and then Rod takes it to the right department, and they will either work on it, we'll let you know what they're doing, and if they can't do it, we'll explain why, which is always important also. And with us today in a special presentation is Police Chief Andrew Salinas. Welcome, Andrew.
Hi, Tom. Thank you for having me back.
You're welcome, and I think you're celebrating just a week or so over your 1-year anniversary with the City of Port Hueneme.
We're on month 13 now.
Month 13.
Yes.
Well, I keep track because
Yes.
we have a 13-month-old great-granddaughter that we babysit,
wow.
so
Perfect.
I'll never
You'll never forget that.
never forget that. Yeah. Let's start with just an overview of your first year, what you felt and what you think is the biggest accomplishment that you've come up with so far.
Well, 2017 was clearly a busy year. If we want to talk about accomplishments for the year, I would think that our reduction in crime for 2017 was our biggest accomplishment, with a 43% reduction in violent crime, which is one of the lowest reductions in all of the county. We had a 1% increase in property crime as compared to the previous year, but an overall crime reduction of 5%, which is really contrary to what a lot of the other cities in the county were experiencing, as some of them actually had crime increases.
And you said, you hit the floor running here. It's not a job you can just ease into. It hit you full on right away. What did you find that contributed mostly to the decrease in violent crimes?
One of the key factors in reducing our violent crime were our reduction in robberies and aggravated assaults, which are generally shootings and stabbings. With the robberies, I feel that we made some key arrests in our robberies early on in the investigation. And when you do that, you prevent the suspect from doing multiple or subsequent robberies, and so you prevent this series of robberies from occurring. And when you have a city this small and you don't have very many robberies during the city, when you can prevent an additional 2 or 3 robberies from occurring, it has a dramatic impact on your crime rate.
And if the same person's doing them, they're probably pretty good at it.
That's exactly it. And so in terms of aggravated assaults and shootings, really, one, the way we investigate crimes was a key factor in how we were investigating those crimes. But two, some of the things that the city of Oxnard was doing in the south end of Oxnard, bordering us, really impacted our violent crime rate, specifically as it related to shootings and stuff. And unfortunately, we had 2 homicides in Port Hueneme in 2017, but they were both solved within 30 days and resulted in arrests. And in fact, good news is yesterday, one of them actually pled out to the homicide and is going to receive 23 years to life, which is very unusual to have a homicide case result in a sentencing so quickly. We're talking about 8 to 9 months now, and generally they go for years. And really a lot of that is attributed to the great job of the investigators.
So even you're talking about a violent, serious crime like a murder or attempted murder would take a couple years.
Right, a homicide generally take a while to go through the court systems, but this one didn't take very long at all. And again, that had to do with the great work of our investigators presenting such a solid case to the district attorney's office, and the suspect had no other. Exactly, and that's one of the key things as to what really attributed to the decrease in crime in our city is now really the good working relationship we have with the city of Oxnard, and collaborating on several investigations and working together very closely. And so hopefully that's something I brought coming from the city of Oxnard here to Hueneme.
Well, Rod, tell me if I'm wrong, but you had something to do with his selection, is that correct?
That's right. We operate on what's called the city council, city manager form of government. And in that system, all of the department directors, including police chief or fire chief, if the city has a fire department, are appointed directly by and report to the city manager. So one of the first things I had to do when I got here, we actually had 3 department director vacancies when I arrived. Excuse me, and we had to make a decision on the police chief position. So we had a professional executive recruiting firm that recruited candidates, narrowed it down to 5 or 6 of the most qualified folks, and we had 3 or 4 really strong finalists. But yeah, then I had to, put on my executive hat and make a decision as to who was going to be police chief. And Andrew really, shined throughout our process, and we liked the fact that he had that local Oxnard experience, because even though there's already been a pretty good relationship between the 2 agencies, we'd like to build on that even further. And so you had a 20-plus year veteran of the Oxnard PD now available to come and serve us in Fort Hueneme, and I think he's already taking that concept of greater cooperation between the 2 departments and running with it.
Absolutely.
What else do you have to share with that's in the PowerPoint display?
Something I wanted to share with our community, kind of give them a quick little update, is how the licensing of our medicinal and adult use dispensaries were occurring here, because there are a lot of misconceptions and misnomers as to how these businesses or establishments work, especially since it's very new to us, not only in our community but in the county of Ventura. And so our city has been taking that responsibility very seriously in terms of being on the forefront of making sure that we do this the right way, and making sure that we vet all of our businesses coming in, the proper backgrounds are done, and they are actually a viable stakeholder in our community, and not just somebody who's going to set up shop and leave. And so with our first dispensary being open now for 2 months, we've had 0 complaints, 0 problems, no issues in terms of crime or noise or smell from any of our dispensaries. So that's a very positive thing. They've already made contributions to the city in terms of our agreements, and in fact our financial contributions, not only to the city, but they've also contributed out to our community programs, making donations already to our Explore program, other organizations within our community already. So they're really setting the tone here for other dispensaries that are going to be coming in.
As far as the recreational, I know one thing, both you guys sort of put off recreational another couple months so that you could do what?
So we could actually take a look to see what we were experiencing with the medicinal dispensaries. At this point, we figured to have about 3 or 4 open at this time, and this would have given the police department a time to actually take a look and see what issues or potential issues we had with these medicinal dispensaries, and we've seen 0 issues at all. And so this brings me a little more relief in terms of now bringing adult use on, especially as it relates to traffic and any type of vagrancy or loitering issues that could possibly occur from this, and we haven't seen that with the medicinal.
I'd like to know a little bit about what you have planned coming up for rest of the year.
Sure. One of the key things that we've done in 2017 is making ourselves more available and more transparent to the public. And one of the key things that we've done with that is actually now we find ourselves on social media, using Facebook and Twitter to get as much information out to the public, whether they be crime issues, significant arrests. We educate our public on issues that we're facing, and so those are some of the things that we've done to really bring ourselves into the community's home, and so they know what the Port Hueneme Police Department is all about, because a lot of them haven't had that interaction with us out on the street, and so that's been key.
I'd like for you to tell the viewers about the special case, which I'll tell you, I'll have you referred to, but where you work with social media, you post, and you also post directly on Port Hueneme News, and that really helps the people seeing that, hey, there's stuff going on all the time, and that, hey, they're updated on it, and we have pictures of people. Tell us about the little girl with autism that was missing.
Oh, just a few months ago, we had I believe she was 9 or 10 years old, suffered from, I believe it was either Down syndrome or autism, and she was located in a park late at night. And no identification, couldn't communicate with the officers, so what do? Is we used our Facebook to take a picture of her here at the police department. We put it out, and within minutes, it was shared by some 5,000 people, had over 100,000 hits,
Wow.
and it was a school teacher that had taught the young lady, who recognized her, knew the family, and immediately contacted us, and we were able to find her home within 30 minutes of putting up that posting. And so those are one of the ways that we use social media, not just to put out crime releases and press releases.
Anything else about this year that you'd like the people to know about?
Sure, there are a few key things that we're working on. at this next council meeting, we're going to be introducing a fireworks host ordinance, which is the first of its kind in this city. The city of Oxnard and the cities of San Jose and other cities are using this. And this gives the police department the legal authority to cite the actual homeowner or tenant of a residence who's allowing fireworks to occur on their property. So that'll be a very resourceful tool for us to use, especially during the 4th of July, where typically the officer actually has to see the violator lighting off the fireworks. So we're hoping to help decrease the number of fireworks calls that we have every year, because that is one of the biggest complaints we have during the summer season. Two, we have our crime mapping program, crimemapping.com, coming online here in the next 30 days. This will allow our residents to go online and see what's happening in their community, see what crime that's happening in their community, whether it be a burglary or they see the officers parked down there. And so within 24 hours, that call for service will actually be on a map for them to take a look at. Because sometimes perception versus reality is a big thing and something that we constantly have to deal with. And so now they can go online and see exactly what's happening in their community.
So, okay, you on this visual map, you punch on, in this area, there was a crime going on. Can they punch on that and get an update and follow that?
They cannot, but what it'll do is it'll tell them if like a vehicle burglary occurred in their 100 block.
Go out and lock your car.
Exactly. Or they can see if there's been a series of burglaries in the area, and it perhaps gets them to be a little more diligent in locking their vehicles or locking their home. And it helps us also, because it's a crime analyst software that we'll be using to identify crime trends.
Well, you were probably going to cover it later, but since we mentioned it, tell everybody about the #1 crime.
Oh, thefts. Thefts by far are the #1 crime in the city of Port Hueneme, primarily vehicle thefts, meaning people that are leaving their vehicles open and leaving items of value inside of their vehicle. And so that's our #1 crime. Out of the 440 crimes we had in our city, over 300, nearly 300 of them were thefts.
Wow.
Now part of those thefts are shoplifts as well, but if we could just get our residents to lock their vehicles and take these preventative measures, I'm almost certain that we could knock that property crime rate down by 50%.
Wow.
Yeah. Anything else about the PowerPoint that you'd like the people to be aware of when they go look at it?
There's a lot of information in there. I
Okay.
encourage everyone to take a look at the PowerPoint. There'll be everything from crime statistics to some of the programs, some of the partnerships we currently have in the community, some of the traffic projects that we worked with Public Works over this last year. And so there's a lot of information there, so I encourage everyone to take a look at, and then it also includes what we have planned for 2018.
Can you give us a hint on 2018, some things that you haven't mentioned yet?
Sure, absolutely. So we
Plus
are
the mapping, I think, was one of them.
right. The crime mapping is one. The fireworks host ordinance was another one. Taking a look at our police fees and how we do business as an organization, reaching out into the community a little bit more, really engage in the community. Things like participate in the Little League baseball, our Cops for Tots program, being involved in the Youth Involvement Fair. So we're looking at. Our goal is to have a 5% reduction in crime to hopefully build on last year's, but we're going to have to rely on the community to help us with that, especially that involves thefts. So there's a lot of things that we have planned in 2018.
One of the last things I want to cover is what the people are saying and what we hear on social media from them and just walking around and other HOA meetings and stuff. One is the homeless situation. And it's not unique here. If you read in the newspapers and everywhere, it's everywhere. Yeah. And there was a report last week, we put it in Port Hueneme News. Homelessness was up 13% in, I can't remember if it was Ventura City or the overall county. But since we just had the Halicon shut down by the Oxnard police, what's the situation been like for Port Hueneme with that? And is there any strategy going forward of how to deal with this?
So as a result of the Halicon site being closed, we have seen an increase in our homeless population here in the city of Port Hueneme, especially along the beachfront. Mm-hmm. They've been accustomed to actually using our beach to access the Oxnard side, and so now that they don't have the Oxnard side to set up residency, a lot of them have been using our beach. And so we've been staying on top of that, and we encourage our residents to contact the Port Hueneme Police Department as soon as they see someone out there, what we like to call illegally camping out on the beachfront. So our officers can go out there, respond, cite the individuals, and have them move from the beachfront property.
Now, for the viewers, what does illegal mean versus it's okay for them to be out there at sometimes?
So generally speaking, with the exception of the pier, the beach is closed after dark. There's no camping, overnight camping allowed out on our beach. So that is what we consider illegal camping. So whenever we see people out there after dark in tents, or they've set up a bed of some nature, that's when they'll be contacted and not only cited, but then asked to leave.
Okay. Yeah, I've noticed when the police have gone into some of these areas, the homeless are gone, and then they go somewhere else. And it's a rotating thing, and it's a big issue that everybody's gonna have to work on, and it's gonna take money to do it properly.
Right, it's not just a police program.
Right.
We absolutely have to take a multi-prong approach to this issue, and it's going to take a number of different agencies, stakeholders to actually come up with a solution, because this isn't only a problem that the city of Port Hueneme, as you said, is facing. It's countywide, especially the coastal communities where the temperature is very mild and it's very attractive.
A lot of open space.
Correct.
The other issue that the people are concerned about, and it's almost as hard, it's like putting cats in a bag, is the graffiti problem. Again, because we have the beach and all the stuff there, it's so visual, so easy for them, or for people to see. You have people coming from the valley and people here, and they come down there and there's all this stuff around there. And I know you guys try to do it, but it seems like, I mean, try to clean it up as much as you can, you and Don and the workers there. But it can happen, you know, within 5 minutes, and then by the time the word gets back and all that, is there anything that can be done that you guys have thought about? Because I know you've put out a couple memos about this.
Yes. So obviously, with graffiti, the quicker we clean it up, the better. The city of Port Hueneme and their beach area is very clean, and so when you have even just the smallest graffiti marking on a bench or on a wall, it really stands out, especially to our citizens who are using that beach on a daily basis. So we encourage our citizens to immediately call it in to the police department, so we can get the public works department out there and have it cleaned up. We can take photographs and follow up on the situation. A lot of people just walk by it and just assume someone else has called it in, and then get upset when it doesn't get cleaned up. So we encourage everyone to call us when that's happening. So we've made several significant graffiti arrests of young people over the last couple of months, and so we're hoping that the graffiti dies down a little bit, but it's a problem that's very difficult to stop in its tracks, because like you said, it takes such little time to go and just put a quick little mark on a wall or on a bench while someone is out there, especially late at night when there's no one out there to see them.
All right, well, those are two topics that we will follow up. Give me a quick update on the police cadets that you guys have.
So we have a Police Explorer program. When I started here, we only had 5 youth involved in that program. We have that upwards of near 20 youth now, and we're hoping to put an additional 10 youth into the summer academy, which is 3 weeks long, and we're currently accepting applications, and the program is designed for youth that are between the ages of 14 and 20 years of age who are considering a career in law enforcement, and we put them through this 3-week summer academy. They get a badge, there's a nice graduation ceremony, and then they become a part of the program, and they really get to learn about the law enforcement, whether it be forensic science, maybe becoming a probation officer. They get to go on monthly ride-alongs if they so choose. They get to go to competitions, not only in the state of California, but outside the state. So there's a lot of different things they learn as a result of this program. And so we encourage our youth here in the city of Port Hueneme to take a look at the program and perhaps apply.
I know they show up at a lot of the functions that we have down at the beach and City Hall and at the community gardens, and it's a great program, just like the ROTC and those others, where these kids are really straightforward, hardworking, and really like it. And I don't know if the people will remember this, but 6 months ago, I challenged Chief Salinas
Yeah.
to a golf match, and the loser would pay $100 to the police explorers, and we did go out and play, and about a month ago, and so the challenge was there. We both played, and the loser is moi.
Wow, you're actually gonna pay right on camera?
I
Look at
have.
that.
It's still wet. $100 bill
Wow.
that I would like to present to the chief. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. We'll have to do it again.
We will. We won't mention the scores.
No, we won't.
But that's not the point. The point is a bunch of kids are going to get something. Maybe you could buy a set of used golf clubs for the cadets, and they could. I could charge
Introduce
lessons
them
to
to
pay.
golf.
I could charge lessons to pay for this.
That's right.
Okay. Well, anyway,
All right.
congratulations.
Thanks, Tom. I appreciate it.
There you are.
This will go to a worthy program.
Good. Good. Glad to hear that. Thank you guys for joining us, and hope that you'll go to the link and view the entire PowerPoint presentation, and we'll see you at our next show. Thank you.